So here's how the Nambu Type 14 works. So you have a lower, you have an upper, and you have the bolt inside the upper. Let's take a look inside. Now the firing pin sits inside the bolt here, like that. It is held back in its ready position by this rotating trigger bar here. Show you from the other side, like that. Kind of like the Browning high power. The upper is held in position by the locking block here and this spring here. This locking block is a part of the upper. You can see it locks right into this part right here. We hide the safety first. Now to fire the weapon, you pull the trigger. This will pivot this trigger bar like this. Pushes it up here, and this part comes down so that it will slide off this lip on the firing pin. This causes the firing pin to snap forward and to fire the round. So as the weapon fires, the bullet is propelled out the barrel. Meanwhile, the rest of the force is applied to the bolt here. So the bolt wants to move backwards. The locking block here is still in its upward position, meaning that it is resting against the bolt. And this in turn pulls the upper and the barrel backwards with the bolt. So the chamber still remains closed, like this. Let me turn the invisible thing off. You can see the upper travels with the bolt, at least initially. In the meantime, as the upper moves backwards, it pushes this part of the trigger backwards so that it will slip off of the trigger bar, like that. Trigger bar can now pivot back into its original position, thus resetting the trigger. So as the bullet has left the barrel, pressure inside is now safe for the bolt to open. At this point, the upper and the bolt have traveled together backwards enough so that here, this locking block approaches this cutout in the lower frame here. And now this spring will push it forward, cause it to pivot downwards. Just like that. This now unlocks the bolt. You see? And now locking block slips off its cutout here. And now the bolt and the upper can now separate. Just like that. Casing is pulled out by the ejector here, just on top of the bolt. Bolt keeps moving backwards. Casing gets ejected out the top. Ejection port here. The empty casing is kicked out by the ejector right down here. Right here. As the bolt has gone all the way back, these two recoil springs on the left and on the right here push the bolt back forward. The bolt moves forward, pushes another round out of the magazine, into the chamber. Shoves it into the chamber like that. And once the bolt has moved forward enough, the locking block can now go back up, since it's still being pressed by this spring here, and it will slide up by this incline. Just like that. So this way, the upper can move forward back into battery, and the bolt will be locked to the upper again. Everything moves back to its original position. Trigger is released. The weapon is ready to fire again.